Good morning to you all. Tuned in right about now. You're rocking with the Vibe Master JD. Saturday morning with the best of Afrobeat music, African vibes. Saturday morning, Vibe Master JD. I got a special guest in the studio this morning, Leo, Mr. Leo. Should I call you Mr. Leo? Just call you Leo. We lit.
Yeah, Leo's cool, man.
Are we lit this morning or not?
Not yet. It's too early, but these Afrobeats is definitely getting me there.
You getting to the Amapiano vibes, right? You feeling the vibe?
For sure.
Yeah, it's good to have you in the studio this morning. We're going to be talking about how to start a business for all my people tuned in from all over the world, from Boston and anywhere you tune in this morning. I've got an entrepreneur in the building, very, very intelligent fellow. His name is Leo. I'd like him to introduce himself to you guys this morning, and we'll get to that story and the conversation and how to start a business. And we're still going to get more music on the show this morning as well, so that you guys can get entertained and enjoy yourself and start the weekend on the perfect note. Leo, introduce yourself to the people real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me today here, JD. My name's Leo. I'm born and raised in Africa, in Cape Verde, west coast of Africa. I've been living in America for the last couple decades or so, and I was graduated from Bridgewater State University for business administration and marketing. Ever since, I've worked for multiple corporations in the U.S., and I've also have managerial experience from managing retail corporations, managing the staffing industry, and also managing in general in a corporate industry. So as an entrepreneur, I've worked as a president for a staffing company. I've also worked as a event curator. In other words, just pretty much promoting events and creating events for the community. And right now, I'm also a real estate agent that also helps my community. I help people that I know, and I help people around me.
Yes, you can hear the man does a lot. Not just for himself as an entrepreneur, he also does a lot for the community, for the Cape Verdean. Shout out to my Cape Verdeans. How do you say good morning in Cape Verdean language? In
Bon
Portuguese.
Dia. Bon dia is a good morning in Creole. Bon dia is also good morning in Portuguese.
Yes. So we got a Cape Verdean African, West African brother in the building this morning. Very experienced man in the business space. First question I'll ask you this morning. I don't want to make it look like I'm asking you questions. I want it to be organic. I want to have the conversation so people can hear.
Let's go.
And learn from it. So even if they don't call in, they can get a lot of information on how to start a business, on what to do to start a business. What would you say is the first thing for someone that wants to, like someone that already has the mindset of an entrepreneur, like someone like me? I started thinking about doing business when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. So some people actually do have that inborn in them, but they don't know how to go about it or how to start with it or what to do once they discover their true talents. What would you say is the first thing, the first process of becoming an entrepreneur?
I think so. There's an actual process, right, of how do you register your business and how do you do all your stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about the stuff that you can pretty much research and know what is your first step of registering the business, getting the business incorporated or whatnot. So the very first step is kind of planning what you're looking to do. Is basically just sketching what do you want for the plan. We're sketching what do you want for the next year, what do you want for the next 5 years. And then when you start doing that, you have to start thinking of one industry you want to jump right into. And once you determine the industry that you're going to be into, comes other things in terms of what is the name of the business, what is going to be your business plan, what is this going to look in the future. So it has to do a lot with a purpose. What is the purpose of you becoming with a business? And a lot of times they say with a business is you find a problem and you solve it. So whatever the business is, you're finding the problem and you're solving it to make it easier for the people on the other end that is coming to you either as a service business, either as a product business. You're just solving a problem. So that's all it is. You're solving a problem and you're having fun along the way. So it is good to do something that one you enjoy, something that obviously it is profitable, and something that you can help others. It just gives you a good feeling of what you're doing, and it just creates a really nice purpose of why you're in business and why you are solving this specific problem.
Yes. I like the way you described it. You have to have a purpose for what you're doing. You have to be providing a service for people. You have to look for a service that you know that you can actually provide to the people, that you feel like you're filling up a space in a market. Sometimes Absolutely. You look for a blue ocean, sometimes you look for a market that already exists. It's harder to actually go through blue ocean, but
Absolutely.
For some of us, we like to go into business through the start from the bottom of everything rather than just jump into it, because when you start from the bottom, sometimes not sometimes, most of the time it helps you to understand that industry that you are going into. Picking an industry to go into and understanding the industry, can you explain that to people that are tuning right now? Because a lot of people don't know that when you go into business, you have to understand the industry you're going to. So what would you say are the few things one should look into when you're going into a business, and what are the things you should pay attention to in that industry you're trying to go into?
I would say, for the most part, for whatever business that you're thinking of starting, somebody has already had a thought, or somebody has already started something. It is good to look what's around you. So it's look to see what is out there, what businesses have been out there, how they've been doing, how's the sales, how are they doing to innovate. So your main goal is to understand what's around you and see how can you differentiate. So how can you be different from anybody down the street that's doing the same exact thing that you're doing? And the way you are is by having your own mission statement, having your own plan, having your own business plan, and then just adapting to the industry, but at the same time being creative and differentiating. What will you make? How would you be different from everybody else? How would you be different from everybody else that is doing the same thing in the same industry? And how can you obviously be better than your competitors? And in other words, a lot of times in business, the word better isn't used only because you're not here to compete against anybody. You're just here to provide it for your target market. You're just here to provide the best, either service, the best product, or whatever the case might be. So in a nutshell, basically you're looking to see how can you be different from everybody else, and what is it that's going to attract more people to you, and that's pretty much it.
Yes, uniqueness, like it's in one word, what it's trying to say is you have to be unique. You have to do everything you want to do. Absolutely. And provide a unique service. Why would people want to leave where they are right now to come to you is pretty much what it's trying to say. The risk factors in businesses as well, because I've had conversations with people and they always say, this business has so much risk, I don't want to go into it. Like I've heard someone say something about the food industry, like it has so much sanctions. If you don't do the right thing, you have to figure out, there's so many things you need to get right right when you're doing that. So when it comes to risk factors in doing businesses, right, some prefer to do it regardless of the risk factor. What would you say is or what advice will you give to someone that is going to something that has a bigger risk than others, even though the return on the investment might be big or might be average? Because a lot of people go into business or an industry based on their passion, what they love to do, right? So what would you say are the risk factors they should pay attention to, and how do they fix or solve this problem so that they go into it in a way where they can actually succeed and not be caught up with sanctions? Because we live in a country where there's so many rules. Sometimes you don't even know some of the rules that you need to pay attention to before you go into these businesses.
So there's a lot of things that come in mind when you say that. So there's a risk reward analysis, which is what you had mentioned in terms of how you're going to get the return on investment, the ROI. And you have to make an analysis of what are the rewards of me doing this business and what are the risks of me doing this business. Another thing that comes in mind right away is fear. So most people have the fear of being in business. So what I have to say, if your dreams don't scare you, you probably need to go to bed and dream again, only because they have to scare you enough for you to be able to put enough time for you to be able to have the discipline and just be able to just be in business in general and with the challenges that come with it. And with that being said, a lot of the time with businesses, it's a lot of adjusting. So if you're doing something that you're passionate about, if you're doing something that you love doing, a lot of times you will get disappointed. A lot of times you will get tired. But if you're disciplined enough, you will find ways in terms of adjusting throughout the way. And adjusting comes with knowledge, and knowledge meaning you would have to listen from other people. You have to create a mentor. You have to find channels and funnels of where you're going to gain your motivation from, and also gain enough knowledge to adjust along the way. So it's not a one said and done thing. You don't just get a business and then everything is good. It's just you adjust along the way, and then you work on the fears that you have, and you work on the risks that you have, and then the reward will come with it. It's just you would have to be very detailed and very disciplined to work on every single detail of the business, just to make sure that every aspect is taken care of.
Yes, there you have it from the man himself. Leo, he just told you all you need to do. You need to be ready. If your dreams don't scare you, then you should go back to sleep and then dream of something big. Sir. You need to dream big. That's how we Africans do. We always dream way bigger than you can ever imagine. We're gonna get back to the conversation. Let's go into some music. Let's go into South African music this morning. I'm a piano vibes. This one right here is by the man Casper and Yovet. Remember, we are on the conversation on how to start a business with Leo. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna talk more about that business. Piano Prayer right now by Casper and Yovet. Take a listen.
Sure, I like it.
Vibe Master JD Saturday morning Afrobeats on the morning, best of African music. We still got more music for you on the show this morning, and I also have my special guest this morning talking about how to start a business. Leo is here with me, and we earlier discussed about risk analysis and then figuring out the market you're trying to go into, and also dreaming big, because your dream has to scare you for you to, to know that you're really doing that.
Absolutely.
You're doing what you want to do. Now let's talk about the funding part, because once you discover what you want to do, and then you look at the risk analysis, and then the market you're trying to service, and then service you're trying to provide, which is what you're trying to do. The other part that is very important is funding the business, starting the business. Some businesses don't require so much funds. Some do require a lot of funds to start them. So how would you say, what are some of the best ways you can raise funds to start a business if it's a business that requires a lot of funds?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always like to start with the advice that's not necessarily related with the subject that you're asking me the questions. And the first thing is, do not get discouraged if you cannot find funding right away, because sometimes it is tough depending on the industry that you're in. And everything that I'm talking is obviously industry related, and I can only speak from my own experience, and I will tell you guys a personal story. But in terms of funding, there's a lot of grants out there. There's also, in your community, you can find some local institutions that will help you write those grants, that will help you get to the way of how to find those grants. There's also your financial institutions that you can talk to them, and also industry related. For each industry, they will have different programs. And then for my personal experience, for instance, when I started a staffing agency in the beginning, I struggled because, as you were saying, it does cost a lot, and it takes a lot of funds in order for you to be able to pay employees. For some of you guys that don't know what a staffing agency is, it's basically you are an employment agency employing people to work for your clients, and you also do the recruiting. So initially you would have to pay all your employees. So if your employees are getting $1,000 a week, you're responsible for paying those employees the taxes and everything with it. And this was something that I always wanted to do, and when I did it in the beginning, it was costing a lot, and I didn't have ways of funding my business. And long story short, I reach out to grants, I reach out to financial institutions, and then in the process of doing all this and getting discouraged and getting right back to it, I'd found what is called a factoring company. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if that's the exact name, but what they do is basically they will pay your employees, they will collect the invoices from your clients, and then they will just give you the profit of what you're making in your business. Pretty cool, only because I almost gave up on what is my dream because of the funding. But once I started to learn a little bit more about the industry, reaching out, networking with other people, I found out that there's ways of getting to it. And in the process, I've worked with actual companies that did not work, and I had to shift gears and switch to a different company. And right now I work with a company called Ascend. They're really good, and they take care of the payroll, they take care of the a lot of the W-2s, a lot of the taxes and all the legal stuff. So I just wanted to share a little bit of a personal experience to it, because I know I have given a lot of general answers for you. So there's always a way. So once you start learning, you can always find different ways, and networking and meeting new people will get you to where you need to be.
Yes. Once you start networking, once you start doing research, once you start checking around, asking questions from people, professionals, you'll be able to find out or find out information you need to be able to start or raise funds. What factor does your credit score play in raising funds?
So I would say that's a question depending on the type of business that you have. So a lot of the business will go as separate entities in terms of they will see how long you've been in business and determine how's the amount of credit that they're going to give you. If it's a certain business where the setup of the business is mostly will be detailed on yourself in terms of your credit, it will help. For instance, I'll give another personal example. I'm going to give this example just to put this in practice. So for instance, for me, when I started a business, when I was looking for a credit line, the business was very new. So me going to the financial institutions, they didn't have a lot of options for me. So I decided that I was going to use the credit card company that already has my information in the system and already can see that I've been doing business with them, and then incorporate the business there as well. So that was the way that I found how to get the credit for my business, with the business being very new. Although the financial institutions advise otherwise, it still end up working because the companies already had my personal information. And credit in general is very crucial for any business, is very crucial for any individual that is looking to invest in any type of industry, including real estate, including businesses, and any type of industry. Credit is very important.
Yes, credit is very, 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 very important in starting a business. I'll ask this question, and this question is just ask question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you're going to advise a young person, a 16-year-old that wants to start a business, because I don't think there's any age too young for one to start a business, because a 16-year-old is literally knows right from wrong already. Because I was less than 16 when I started thinking about doing business. I started selling stuff in school. I started selling like t-shirts, anything I buy and people like, I'm like, okay, it's for sale, it's up for sale. If you say you like it, I'm like, I'm willing to sell it. So that's how I like discovered that I really like doing this and I do enjoy doing it. And there was a point in time in my life I sold leather products, bags, shoes, and actually had a cobbler make them from me from scratch. So I sold them to everybody that I saw in church. And one thing I discovered was that the bigger gatherings you go to, the more you go to bigger gatherings, the more customers you get.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage of having to go to college in my own way I think. That's one of the advantages of going to college, going to religious gatherings like church, mosque, because you meet a lot of people. Because you most likely won't meet that much people in your normal life if you didn't go to college, or you didn't go to religious gatherings, or you didn't go to camping on all these things. So what would you say, which business would you say for a 16-year-old, right, that's just young, active, has so much energy? What kind of business would you say a 16-year-old can start? What sort of businesses?
You got me with this one. It's a tough question, but you're going to get me talking about a conversation that we had, me and you, a couple days ago. But I would say the best thing for a 16-year-old to do is to learn as much as you can about the stuff around you, learn as much as you can about the businesses that are around you, and that will sort of guide you to what direction you want to go. And in terms of having the business instinct, I think we, as a business person or an entrepreneur, you get the clues early, right? So you feel it early that you have this in you. Just like you were saying, in high school you were selling this stuff. And the other thing I want to talk about is something that me and you discussed, and I will just touch on this briefly, is a lot of us have been conditioned to go to school and have been conditioned to graduate and become workers. So we don't really, it takes away a lot of our creative mind. It takes away of a lot of how we can pretty much unleash the beast inside of us, right? Only because everybody else is following a path that we also are made believe that we should follow. So as an entrepreneur, a lot of people struggle with that because we don't get the knowledge early. So I would say getting the knowledge of what's around early is the best thing. And nowadays with social media, I've probably learned a lot more from YouTube than I've learned from a lot of the business classes that I took. So there's a lot of stuff out there. So the new generation, I would say learn first and just kind of in the process find out what you're looking for. But a really easy business, because I do want to answer your question, is a lot of the drop shipping. A lot of kids are now doing sneakers and they do really well. A lot of people buy stuff from China and bring it back and put it on Amazon and resell it. So it's as easy as that, and it's as easy as doing a setup in front of your house and selling lemonades. It's as easy as that. So that's the start. And just like you, JD, I've sold in high school. I used to sell my sneakers. I've sold gold and a whole bunch of things up until I got to this position. You don't just start having a business.
Right. So as a young person, if you are listening right now, or you have a kid that's a teenager, you need to start telling them these things. My own opinion though, and you don't have to take this advice if you're listening right now. I think college is just an extra in the life.
Got there.
Yeah. I feel it's extra in the lives of people these days, because the world we live in right now is way different from what it used to be. Most of our parents were conditioned and given the mindset that you need to go to school, you need to do a 9 to 5. By the end of the day, doing a 9 to 5 is not going to get to your goals if you have big goals, because 9 to 5 is just going to be able to pay your bills and be able to save some money to be able to do this and that. If you're trying to get wealthy or rich, chances of 9 to 5 getting you there is very slim, very slim. So yeah. So if you're like a teenager right now, like you're in the best position in your life to be able to look up things, check Instagram, because now everything is on the internet. The world is a global village. You can literally find a production company somewhere in Malaysia or somewhere in Africa and be able to get products and bring them down here and sell to people, because people want, there's so many of these things that people want, but they come at very ridiculous prices out here. Because I think the advantage is because I grew up back home and I know like price differences. When I see a product, I'm like, this product is $20 or it's $50. I'm like, okay, I convert this thing to Naira. I'm like, this is gonna give me like 10 times what I'm paying for right now.
That's the mindset.
Yeah. So I feel for young people, it's good to go to college, no doubt, right? But while you're going to college, I feel it's an opportunity for you to discover yourself. College is actually the best time for you to discover what you want to do with your life. like what you want to spend the rest of your life doing without regretting or getting frustrated or getting miserable or getting depressed that you're waking up in the morning and going to work for someone else, helping them make their money to be able to buy their Ferrari and all that while you're still struggling to pay your car notes. So I don't think actually no, don't let me confuse people, because a lot of people some people are actually born to go to school and do 9 to 5, because if someone is not doing 9 to 5, who's going to do 9 to 5?
Somebody has to do it.
Someone has to do 9 to 5. So some people actually love doing the 9 to 5. So for a young person, I feel if you're going to do 9 to 5, always have something on the side that you can always do, because there's inflation. Tomorrow can come and then everybody's being bounced from where they work. What do you do at that point? So I feel personally that you should always look into other things you can do. From college days, you can sample so many ideas in college. That's the best time for you to be able to test the waters and see what works for you and what will help you succeed, or what actually is your passion. Because for someone like me, when I was in college, there was one day I was just like, wait, am I going to end up going out of college, like finish this program and then go sit in an office? I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that. I was like, nah, I'm not. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? What do I love to do? And then one day during my internship, I started downloading music, because I always love music. I can hear sound, I can hear music from a distance. I know what song is playing.
Right.
So I'm like, I think I should try this DJing thing, because I already and I'm a church boy. So in church, you get to be around music every time. So by default, your brain starts picking certain things from it. So I just started downloading music, and then before you knew it, I was like, nah, I love this. I want to do this, and I want to do it for the rest of my life. And this is me today doing the same thing I've been talking about like 15, 20 years ago.
It is.
Yes, it takes a long time, because for the most part, your passion doesn't always work instantly for you. Like, you don't get to succeed. Success is relative though, but you don't get to achieve the height of, or the highest level of your passion, or in whatever industry you are in, instantly. It takes a while. Sometimes it takes 10 years for some people. Some people it takes 2 years, 3 years. Some people it takes 20 years. Because I know Quincy Jones, his first mega hit was I think got at the age of 50.
Wow.
I think it was Thriller. Yeah, the person, I think it was Thriller.
Yeah.
At the age of 50, and he's been doing this for a long time. So you can imagine how long it took it for him to get that first mega hit that is still making money off of today. So you can't give up on your passion, you can't give up on your talent, you can't give up on whatever it is that you love to do. Just got to figure out what it is and keep doing it, and then you keep figuring out the errors that you need to work on, and then one day it's gonna click and work for you. Leo's in the studio this morning. Like I said, we still have more to say before we leave the studio this morning.
Sir.
And before we get into music, let's talk about the nightlife that you get into, and then what was the most recent activity that is going on, or should we leave that for the last part of the conversation?
I'll say let's listen to some music and we'll get back to it.
All right, let's listen to some music. I'll take you back to South Africa right now, then we'll come back to Nigeria again, some new music.
Let's go.
This is Amapiano. This is actually a gospel music by King Monada. It's called Madewe.
Can I te veo di bala. Cantala che hai di bala. Che non le vuole te veo di bala. Cantala che hai di bala. Malete aga gambo marathon. Malete aga gambo marathon. Wajola kendi wala. Wanjole la kendi wala. Leo kampicha lete kendi wala. Oka bizi kendi wala. Malete aga gambo marathon. Malete aga gambo marathon. Wasubuya haye kendi wala. Watching my phone, ya iri wala. Phone ya tora como tabo ya iri wala. Wanjole la ya iri wala. Malete ya gagam marato. Malete ya gagam marato. Kino le bula te bia iri wala. Antala ya iri wala.
Like God's plan, what we made from the sand. From the feet, we take to the stand. With the hope, say we reach out the land. Everybody don't dress for the occasion. Let we meet at the location. Got in wheel and for move, waiting don't go around. No need for come around, we're not leaving the rotation. Yeah, won't free with the flow, they not get me. Now we back, let them talk and debate me. We not go able to do side and hate me. We not go able to wait till they wait me. You never enough, you put test us. Whatever we do, we stay blessed. I know when we arrive, we gon' turn up. When we arrive, we gon'
This is the new B87, B87.7.
New music.
Tune into the king of sounds and blues.
Ololade Miyashake.
Come up with a kind of killer. This your love will get me for my body. I want light man with my lighter. This your color no be fake, oh mommy. My banana, oh my banana, don't chop my banana. Show me power, go keep power. And let me love my life. It's my like, it's my like, my Sudana. Cause you dey amazing, you dey amazing. Your body amazing, don't be late, don't keep me waiting. You're procrastinating, terminator. You don't get agreement, do not terminating. Me right now, you dale kamo right now. Fada mo kai now. Fami mora baby, okay she my no. I'm a pet to play that now. You come and play you. Mr. Money mo available. You be my cross, my available. Give me my baby, baby, go kada. I dey deliver still. Banana, oh my banana, go chop my banana. Show me power, go nipoa. And let me love my life. It's my like, my Sudana. Cause you dey amazing, you dey amazing. Your body amazing, don't be late, don't keep me waiting. No procrastinating, terminator. You don't get agreement, do not terminating. Go down. Exodus.
Still rock with the Vibe Master J this Saturday morning. Best of Afrobeat music alongside Moonlit's on Leo in the studio this morning. Are we late now?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Based on the conversation we've had and
We'll
information that's been
We're getting
given
there.
to
It's
the people.
Saturday though, so it's still early.
Okay, we're gonna get
This
much
is the
later
first
today,
step.
right? Yes, remember tonight I'm gonna be at the Mezzo Lounge alongside another Cape Verdean DJ. I wish I could mention his name on the radio, but by default I can only mention DJs on the radio, on this radio. So it's understandable. I'm sure you understand. I'm big up my own boy Steve-O. A shout outs to Moonlit Afrobeat Patio. We're gonna be at the Mezzo Lounge tonight with the best of Afrobeat music and also Cape Verdean music. So if you're Cape Verdean or African, or you love Afrobeat music or love Passada or Cape Verdean music, Mezzo Lounge is where to be tonight. That's where the party is tonight. I know it's carnival weekend. If you're trying to party hard, Mezzo Lounge, Vibe Master JD, Moonlit Afrobeat people, that's where to be. Leo, let's go back to the old business conversation we're having. And there's a part of the business you never mentioned, and that's what we want to talk about right now, the entertainment and live part. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, so the other part of the business is what JD's talking about. We do right now at this current situation, we do Afrobeats patio and Mezzo outside. So we do a very good Afrobeats vibes outside. And Afrobeats, honestly, is something I want to touch upon only because it's bringing a lot of cultures together. It's bringing a lot of us Africans together. It brings Cape Verdeans together. It brings Nigerians. It brings everybody. And it's just very good vibes. It's almost, it's so weird. It's almost like a hub for everybody to just vibe. And we also do Cape Verdean music inside, which is, as I explained, West Coast of Africa, which is Kizomba, a lot of different genres. And the business part of it is we started right after college, me and my partner Danny, and at 22 years old. And now when I look back, I was like, oh man, I had a business at 22 years old. But it's been growing since. We had other partners along the way as well that we started with. And right now, it grew into something else. As I was mentioning earlier, as you go with business, you just adjust as it goes. And we've been growing in terms of reaching different cultures, reaching different demographics, just to kind of bring everybody under one umbrella. And we do different things besides the club scene. So we are doing September 2nd, we're going to be doing a boat cruise for Spirit of Boston. You can find more information at Moonlit312 on Instagram. And you can also find more information about the Afrobeats that we're doing at Afrobeats Patio RI on Instagram as well. So this is for the most part what we're doing, just bringing cultures together, vibing, having fun, and just an escape from reality, escape from your day-to-day, escape from your 9 to 5, escape from your business, escape from anything. Saturday nights we just go there and just have fun, listen to some good music, drink some drinks, and you know the rest.
Yeah, you know the rest already. So after your long 9 to 5 or business you do all week, the best place to be on a Saturday is Mezzo Lounge with Vibe Master, Afrobeat Patio, and then also Cape Verdean music inside. So it's more of Afrofusion, African music,
Afrofusion, that's the word.
Yeah, Afrofusion with hip hop, dancehall, R&B, all of that music you love to listen to when you go to party is what you're gonna hear when you come to Mezzo Lounge on Saturdays. There's a day party coming up. It's supposed to be the last day party because last one was supposed to be the last one, and then now there's the last one. Is there gonna be another last one?
No. If the weather changes, yeah. Why not?
I also remember that you're doing October 1st, which is supposed to be Nigerian Independence. It's not supposed to be. It is Nigerian Independence.
Right.
With Goya Mena.
Yep.
So it's going to be in the city of Rhode Island on the 1st of October. I think I should bring him to the studio. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I just talk to his management and see how they can get
One of you guys that don't know who Goya Mena is, I should have JD sing one of his best TikTok songs.
Actually, I'm going to play a song talking about that.
So you know exactly who we're talking about.
Yes.
He will be at Mezzo October 1st for Nigerian Independence Day.
1 second, let me get that song for you guys.
You don't want to sing it yourself?
So easy.
My voice is bad.
Hey, ha. Boy, amen, amen, I can't take back here. DJ, give me na yaku here. Let me tell them how the thing goes. How the thing goes. Okay, okay. Chebe meka tamua. Say my pekina go join God. You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, kitty, you the wrong, get enough with drink with a drop cup. Hey, so you see how the thing goes? How the thing goes? Oh, you tell me who blend you?
Yes, for those that don't know who Goya Meno is, that's the song, the viral song, one of the biggest songs in the last 12 months from the Afrobeats space. So you have activities lined up for the next 1 month. Next week Friday is the boat cruise in Boston. 2 weeks after is the day party, and then 2 weeks after the day party is October 1st, Nigerian Independence Party, and it's all going down at Mezzo Lounge. I'm going to be there as well. Trust, I'm one of the Moonlit DJs, so what you expect? I'm going to be there as well. So make sure you save all these dates down. Big shout out to everyone tuning in this morning. Before I let you go, Leo, I would like for you to give one advice to those that are tuning right now, trying to start a business. What would be that one thing you would tell them to watch out for, to look into, or to do while trying to start a business?
There's a lot of things I can say. I think that one things that come to mind is just don't stop dreaming. At one point, it is just a dream, but then it does become reality if you put the hard work, if you put the discipline. It is not easy when we talking about having a business and owning your own book of business, being your own boss. It's not easy, but if you keep dreaming and keep finding ways and keep learning, so learning is one of the biggest things. So I'll say keep dreaming, keep learning, and keep working on your craft, and one day it's gonna come up. It feels unrealistic, it feels like it's not gonna happen, but one day you'll look back and remember those days where you were doubting and you have the fear. The fear is the first step, and once you work on it, you can get to the point that you want to get to.
Yes, that's it. Once you get past the fear, everything is done. Everybody gets scared. I get scared as well sometimes. Even when I DJ sometimes, I'm like, I hope I don't mess this up. But yes, that's all we have for you today on How to Start a Business by Leo. Want to say a big thank you to Leo for coming on the show this morning. I already mentioned all the dates for the events that are coming up after a long week. What do you need to do on the weekend? Come on, of course.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me here, JD. I'll see you later on at Mezzo. I appreciate the conversation.
Yes, let's get back to the music right now. This one right here is by Kata Efe alongside Berry. It's called Machala. This song is actually a fanboy song for Wizkid. Listen.
For this life, for this life. I don't want like any girl. I want to get like Wizkid. Machala. I want to get big girl at this. Yo, X. Get her.
Hey God, fresh and clean me looking, say you notify. Man who send nobody, I can live my life. If you're not talking money, no go call my line. See man just one day happy, man one day alright. Tell me what again? If money no dey for my lane, stop off for don't be wet me again. Pop pass make you pass rosé, pass rosé.
Olalade Ashake.
Pàdí mi hustle lọ, tó dìgbà tí bá ní kò bọ́ kù lọ. àlàyé mi sáré tẹ bọ́tì lọ. Gbogbo nǹkan kọ́ ló máa fi ń jọ́gọ̀jọ́. Ká lọ ṣe shopping jọ. I know they send that they chop my life. 100% we dey gbádùn lọ. Àwọn tí o fẹ́ wa kọ́ máa struggle lọ. The money long cause I don't fashion. Now everybody want to tear my shirt. I just blow but I know myself. Before them use me, I go use my sense. Ọmọ bá tó ń pàṣẹ. Anita go down set. Ọmọ dúdú ọmọ pupa èmi lọ́ máa fẹ́. Ẹnjọba méjì ló máa jẹ́. Asalaam alaikum. I get many disciples. Motaka Oshidano. Olúwa shower me your blessings thank you. In every situation make I know you. If you shall come on, Ọlọ́run. Check out body me back this I thank you. Emiliano Rora, Koshama Rora. Ìwọ nìkan ní kọ́nà. Mo dá ìmọ̀ tọ́nà. Cause the para pass your mother. Kárakádi sẹ́là. Ilé fún chameleon. Mo ti gbé wọn débẹ̀. The money long cause I don't fashion. Now everybody want to tear my shirt. I just blow but I know myself. Before